For the man, he's an embodiment of the consciousness. The temptation in the bedroom especially, but also in relationships, but also in the day-to-day life, like as long as you have an ego, there will be a temptation to kind of use consciousness, clarity, awareness, observation as a means to an end, right? So you would be conscious in a self-serving way. Conscious as much as it serves you. And then in areas where it kind of doesn't really matter to you, you could be unconscious, right? When you sit in front of a computer game, that's nice. So you could be unconscious there because it's nice to just, nice for the ego, right? To kind of just blub into that. So, but in a moment where, let's say you are in an argument, right, and you want to bring a point across, then you bring sharp observations, and this is the fact, and but you said like that, and you see, and you crossed yourself, ha, right? And then we will use our consciousness because it serves to a certain end. Now, we will also do that in the bedroom as long as an ego exists. We, meaning you guys, we have other issues. For you guys, the temptation in the bedroom around this will be, for example, I will be conscious and present and aware as long as that helps me, let's say on the path you are on, to not ejaculate. As long as that helps me to learn to orgasm and like have inner orgasm and have that great feeling, right? As long as that helps me to kind of feel and understand her to a degree that is maybe nourishing to me, or that I know which buttons to push so she can have a lot of pleasure, which, you know, makes me feel good as a lover, things like this, right? And not to say that that's in itself a bad thing, right? Because that can be a very good first step. To be like, well, you know what, let me use my observational power to understand how to not ejaculate, how I can make her have pleasure, and so on. This can be a really, really good starting point. But it's not a good end point, right? It's not a good ideal to look at. If it becomes the ideal to look at, then it's a temptation. Yeah. So in order to reach an Udvareta state, we would need to figure out what is the real goal. So even when we do our beginning steps, we'll orient them towards the real end goal. And the real end goal in this consciousness principle, Shiva Shakti principle, where you are the embodiment of consciousness, would be to be conscious no matter what. Or you could say to be conscious until you become like Shiva, right? Because Shiva is not asking if it's a Thursday to be conscious, right? He's just conscious. Doesn't matter why. That's just his nature, right? So you would aim to become conscious as an embodiment of your inner nature, not because it leads you to have a good meditation and then have some good lovemaking and then have a good life. That's not enough, right? There needs to be something more that you're aiming at. And the purpose of this becoming like Shiva would be that actually prepares you, especially in the bedroom, for the complete union with Shakti. Because as long as you are not an embodiment of Shiva, you cannot unify fully with Shakti coming through your lover, right? And then that will also, even if she's making all the efforts over there to be a nice Shakti channel for you and for the world and all of that, you will not be able to meet that, right? Because you're not there. You're not the mirroring part of that. So then she can also not bring through what would be possible. But as we will see, when you actually play your role, then you might even tickle things out of her that she would not be able to embody without your transfiguration and so forth, but also without your presence there, without your embodiment of consciousness. So real purpose is to become conscious until you are like Shiva, with the purpose of allowing for the complete union of Shiva and Shakti. And this is a good reminder that the way of the masculine to unify, and therefore the masculine essence, the manly essence that you carry inside of you to unify, is through consciousness, is through penetration. You are not unifying by, doing the feminine thing of dissolving into particles. The path of the masculine towards union is through consciousness, through becoming completely and utterly aware until you pierce everything, right? And it's never any like kind of melty situation. Okay, and this penetrative act that allows you to unify with the feminine is a lot more about observing things, seeing things, understanding things, not from the mind, but from perceiving them directly. The masculine, let's say, perfection in the bedroom, if you will, is being fully awake. A full-on man in the bedroom is completely awake. All lights are on all the time. And it has a terrible feeling to it, I can tell you from the other side, which is very polarizing. It's beautiful. You as a woman would be very happy to see that terrible thing awaken in your lover. But also for you to know that, you know, in the way that we describe Shiva, of course, he's the eternally benevolent one, but his force is considered terrible. Shiva is not cute. He is really, really scary because he absorbs everything back into the void. And when you become very, very attentive, I'm not saying in your head, right? But very attentive, even on the level of senses. Your senses, they become penetrative because you fill them with consciousness. And a woman can immediately feel it.
What you saw now is an extract from a wide course of teaching men the Tantric way of lovemaking, the Tantric path of love. It's called Amorous Erotic Continence. We have about 50 courses with different titles, and if you're interested, if that's something you want to know more of, you're welcome to send us an email and connect with us in this way.